We are live 364 days a year.
What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan. Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How did not get sushi after Monday Night Raw?
Welcome to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. A show where a rotating cast of wrestling fans from around the world come and share and debate their opinions, with live comments from all of you shown throughout. As after all, fans are what makes wrestling so special. So sit back, grab a beverage, and enjoy the show. Good evening, wrestling fans. I'm Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, and we have a really fun show planned for you guys today. We are going to be talking about my brand new theory, and you guys know how accurate my theories are. Not very recently, as well as also talking about AJ Styles' dream matches and a lot more. And I need a great panel to do this with me. So I have got, and you, and also after a couple of days away, we have got Clark Taylor. Shout out to you both. Very excited to get into things, and out of the gates, let's talk about Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, because for the longest time I've been predicting Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes WrestleMania Night 2 of 42. Here is the issue. After this week's promo on Raw, I think I'm probably wrong. I think Roman Reigns versus CM Punk is probably not a swerve, but in fact the direction. With that being said, I do not think McIntyre, Fatu, and Cody can go all the way to WrestleMania with their program. It is already at boiling point. It is fight on site level already, and there's 80 days until WrestleMania. Mark my words, if they do that, in 30-40 days, fans will say it's boring, it's gotten repetitive, and it's very simply because they started it too early. But I don't think that is what they're doing. I think that is the Elimination Chamber match. And at Elimination Chamber, I predict Cody Rhodes is going to win back the WWE Championship. Also at Elimination Chamber, I predict Randy Orton is going to win the Elimination Chamber match with 3 stars from Raw and 3 stars from SmackDown. Then, WrestleMania, Cody versus Randy Orton. Friendly fire. They're both friendly enough going into it. There's no heel turn. Gets to WrestleMania Night 1. Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. Randy Orton turns heel and wins. Wins the WWE Championship. Jacob Fatu defeats Drew McIntyre in a singles match, a non-title singles match, and then the SmackDown after WrestleMania, Jacob Fatu finds out that Drew McIntyre was telling the truth, and in fact, Randy Orton was the one who took him out. At this point, Backlash main event, Randy Orton, Jacob Fatu. We give Jacob Fatu his first proper main event feud, kicking off the post-WrestleMania season in WWE. I think it's a plan which would work. I also think doing it this way and not doing the heel turn until the match means you can then run this back to a proper blood feud between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, potentially at SummerSlam or maybe a little bit before that after the Jacob Fatu feud. But I think everybody comes out of this well, apart from Drew McIntyre, who was just completely buried this week on Monday Night Raw, unfortunately. It was absolutely brutal. Punk and Reigns did him dirty, Clark. But I want to find out your thoughts on this theory. Could it happen, or do you have something different in mind?
I really do like the theory, and I wouldn't have an issue with it happening. Honestly, just for the sake of conversation, I'll present a different route that we would go, but I really do like the idea. I want to emphasize that out of the gates here. I would actually prefer the heel turn to happen a little earlier, and only for one reason. I think you can create a real moment. Maybe if somehow Jacob Fatu starts really going after Cody, and he seems convinced it's actually Cody and not Drew, and even though Drew said it was Randy, it becomes a whodunit situation still headed to the chamber, and you have enough time to have that land. And I want Jacob Fatu to suddenly be convinced now it's Cody. No, it is Cody. Wait a minute. Change his mind almost. Maybe it was Cody. And for it to be Randy Orton that got in his ear, and it was Randy. If you can pull that off, I think that moment on a SmackDown to set up the match between Randy and Cody at Mania is key. Then you can still run Orton winning the chamber. You can still run the triple threat match as described. As far as Jacob Fatu at Backlash, it makes that maybe more difficult, but maybe it doesn't either, because there's already a built-in implied beyond just the history of we're all pretty confident it was Orton that got Fatu. Not only that, he manipulated him. And you can have Viper Randy Orton on the road to WrestleMania drop a line that Cody Rhodes, you've always been one step behind me. You've always been chasing not only your father's legacy, but my legacy. Da-dutch in the group, pun intended. Come on, guys. Nobody caught that. I think that is maybe the only alternate route I would go, but we still accomplish a lot of what you presented there, Ben. I think there's a lot of good options, and I really, really like the idea.
Well, if, let's say, for example, they did what you said about, Jacob Fatu and Randy Orton being in his year, which, by the way, I do love that part of the idea, then I think it would almost, which was my other idea this leads on to, is it would make sense to almost do a 4-way WrestleMania with also Drew and Jacob Fatu in it. Now, the reason I suggested the one-on-ones instead is, firstly, that gets Jacob Fatu a big WrestleMania win, so then he can go into that Backlash feud with momentum. But secondly, because I think doing Cody versus Orton as two babyfaces heading into WrestleMania will make fans speculate, is one of them going to turn heel? And I think, because everybody's obsessed with Homelander Cody, people will think Cody is going to be the one to do so. And then you shock everyone and you do Randy, because like we've said before, Cody Rhodes earns them too much money and he's their only real top babyface right now. So they're not really going to turn him heel. But at you, I want to get your perspective on this one.
Yeah, man. I like the scenario, and I like the fact of it being Cody and Randy, and I really want to see Randy punk Cody. I want to see 2011 Randy come back. I want to see that guy that was just ruthless, that was taking everybody out, and it really, like, I feel like no one's. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I feel like people are just starting to not care about Cody Rhodes anymore, and that's the whole thing that made him as popular as it did. Like, Cody's not getting he's still beloved by the kids, but that push that was there isn't what it used to be. So you're going to have to do something to get Cody back to where he was. He is your perennial babyface on SmackDown. He's got to be that guy on SmackDown, because without it, what do you have? With Roman going to Raw and all your big players being on Raw, there's a group of young talent on SmackDown that's going to change the face of wrestling, with Mello and Ilya Dragunov and Trick and all those guys. But you need the guy over there. So yeah, you have Randy be that, like Clark said, have Randy be that manipulative ear and Jacob Fatu, and have him just lead Jacob down that dark path. Be the voices, right? Let Randy be the voices in someone else's head that's talking to him, that takes out Cody, and just make it cinematic. Like, put those three, make it cinematic, let it build Raw back up to where Raw was, 3 years ago, or SmackDown, excuse me, to where SmackDown was 3 years ago, to where SmackDown was the it show. And you can do that with those three, because Jacob has that it factor about him that every time he's on screen, people just have to watch. And you can build something beautiful around that, and then if it does end up being to where Randy was the one that attacked Jacob, then the long-term storytelling and the beautifulness of that is great, and that will definitely cement Randy's legacy. See what I did there, Clark?
Pun for pun. I was like, dude, no, that.
It's a tennis match of puns right now between you two.
Legacy. Hold my beer. Watch voices.
Oh my gosh. But I love what you said there, and I really do. And I do think, like, you know, people have been critical over the last couple of years about, well, since the Bloodline ending, really, about, like you said, there not really being any cinema-like storylines, right? And I think the John Cena heel turn last year had potential to be that, but the execution was, like, the reasoning wasn't there. Whereas with this, the reasoning is there, and there's so many stories you can tell and you can build on. And ironically, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but there's so many stories, especially on the SmackDown side, on the main event scene, if you do this, that I kind of wouldn't want to see a draft right after WrestleMania, because I want to see it continue and see how it develops. And I've been screaming for a draft for ages, but suddenly they've kind of pulled me back in with it.
I don't know. The draft thing is tough because it's funny. It feels like it just got skipped last year. Right,
Yeah,
like we got
2
used
years,
to,
I think, now, isn't it?
yeah, 2 basically. Yeah, we got used to like it being such a cyclical thing. I'm like now getting used to it not being the case. I wish there was like a system in place.
There needs
Like
to be. There does need to be.
Trades, transfer window. We've broken down like what 90 different options, but just don't tell anybody is my least favorite one, and that's where we're at, right? Like nobody knows that's my least favorite option, which is what's happening. So it's like anything would be better, like some sort of like this is why the so and so is going to SmackDown or Raw, or because even like the call-up system, it's like they just end up on a brand.
Yeah, I mean, like, for a while,
you are on Monday.
For a while, you just like you couldn't wait for Friday to get here to watch SmackDown, and then it was just like watching SmackDown was like eating a bowl of soup with a fork. It was impossible to do.
Oh, lovely line. Lovely line there.
No doubt about that.
But yeah, I mean, I do agree. I mean, I will say this actually, though, to both of you very quickly, just get your reactions on it. I actually think maybe I've just been feeling more positive in 2026. I think January, other than maybe the first week or so, for WWE has been a really good month of weekly television. It's felt like Raw and SmackDown have improved so much.
In a weird way, sort of the end of the year stuff, I feel like leaked into this year where there was a perception where the expectations, I don't want to say were lowered, but like it made it easier to be like, ooh, they're in a bit of a slump. And then they did pretty darn good through the month of January. And I think sort of turned it around, turned a bit of a corner. Storytelling wise, they had to.
They did.
But also, I think from a familiarity standpoint, as like lifelong fans that know how the WWE calendar tends to work, it was a jarring time for that to happen. It's not normally during Rumble season, right?
Yeah.
And I think that why
a few months early, it was a bit weird.
Exactly. For like from a perception standpoint, I think that was as big of a factor as anything. Lobbing in also John Cena, AJ Styles so close. On top of all of that, that created an umbrella of things that we talked about. Right?
That's true. Those were my two least favorite parts.
Yeah, that's my point, right? That created this umbrella, those two things, over sort of the rest of what was going on. And I think that allowed, in a weird way, despite one making some sense and one making none, in a weird way, the way that they combated that was once it was off the books, you could refocus on the rest of what was going on, which may not have been as bad as we thought because we were distracted by the two things we really didn't.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Although I'm going to be honest here, I do think that it also, like, look, I think WWE television from September to December on a weekly basis absolutely stank up the shop this year. I really do think it was only marginally better than the last few years Vince was in charge when they absolutely sucked. I think it was only marginally better, but this month, I mean, look, I've looked forward to every Raw. I've looked forward to every SmackDown. I mean, almost every segment has felt important and enjoyable. Like, it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's a me thing, but just to me, the last month has felt so much like better compared to the end of 2025.
No, truthfully, I think it's kind of a bit of both, right? There was those two multiple things to be true at once. The rest of the roster wasn't so great. Then you have the two giant distractions, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But then I think that the rest of the booking, maybe later in the year to set up sort of certain things, got a little better in December than we realized, but the fact that the Cena, but the fact that Cena and AJ were still on the table, it was harder to recognize what was going on with the rest of the roster. That's kind of my only point, at least for me personally, right? Because they did sort of set up a few things that have been really effective through January into this early February season that I realized in hindsight, I was like, oh, that was smarter than I thought. You know, like I didn't really catch that at the time. There was a couple instances like that. I can't think of a perfect example off the top of my head, but that's just at least how I felt about it.
Fair enough.
And I tell you, when AJ Styles' music hit this past Monday on Monday Night Raw, and it was Gunther coming out doing the AJ Styles entrance, like that, I know it hit you in your feels, man. And like
I actually loved it. It was actually very good.
It was like it's starting to show another side of Gunther that we didn't know was there. To go along with, like, and then I am very critical of Dragon Lee, but Dragon Lee selling that sleeper dangling over the top ropes was one of the better things I've seen out of him.
He's incredible at selling. What don't you like about him, out of curiosity, before we move on?
So I've never been a fan of Dragon Lee selling. Like, I've seen him take moves from the top rope and stuff, and just like lay there. Like, I've never been a fan of Dragon Lee selling. But like the emotion he showed, like with his feet dangling and then just going, like, it was good. It was good. It was really good.
To be fair, I mean, I think, to me at least, it's felt like he's gone through the motions a little bit in WWE, purely because, I mean, he's not really been given much until the AJ stuff a few months ago.
Right.
So I do, maybe he has just kind of lost it a bit. But I used to think in Japan, his selling was some of the best.
I got to give credit where it's due. It wasn't even me that said it. I'm with my family this week, and we were watching Raw, and my cousin, who's familiar but more of a Lapsed fan, was like, wait a minute, they're not going to now... Because I explained Dragon Lee and AJ were former tag partners. He understood the context of AJ was retired, Cena was retired by Gunther, even Goldberg and everything. And he was like, wait, they're not going to do mask. Like, Gunther's not going to take his mask now. Is he? Is that what they're setting up for? And when that happened, I was like, when he said that, I was like, no. Career killer, and he takes Dragon Lee's mask, I would lose my mind. That was thrown into the universe this week. I have to give credit where it's due.
No,
don't do it. But it scared me to death when he said it.
No, do you know what is going to happen, though? Your cousin's just given me the idea. I don't think they'll do this, but they might just. They'll have the Dragon Lee feud now. Gunther will be going for his mask, but never end up being able to get it because Rey makes a save. WrestleMania, Rey Mysterio put his career on the line. Oh, no. Let it be Dom.
No.
Let Dom retire that man.
That's worse.
That is worse.
That's way worse.
If Gunther retires two of my favorites of all time, the guy who got me into wrestling and the guy who's been my all-time favorite in AJ Styles, I will be absolutely fuming. But hey, that's the point.
It's going to have something. I think it's going to have something to do with Michael Cole. Because he said it to Michael Cole.
I know.
I think WrestleMania is going to have something to do with Michael Cole, and it's going to hurt my heart.
He wrestles Pat McAfee for Cole's career? Stop it.
A rematch. That would be great. That would be beautiful.
No way are we retiring Michael Cole. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That scares me to death, too.
If it happens, you heard it here first.
That might be worse than Mysterio somehow.
If it happens, you heard it here first.
Like a tie. They're both.
No one else has talked about that.
At least it's not Orton.
Orton's later.
I mean, it's going to be Orton. Orton's the last Infinity Stone. We know this. I mean, Mary saying stop it. We got Fernando in the chat. DCX wants Dominic versus Gunther for the AAA Mega Championship. I mean, that would be a hell of a match for sure. But guys, up next, we are going to have to move on because we have to talk about Tony Khan and AJ Styles, because today Tony Khan was on the Battleground podcast and he was asked about AJ Styles. He wasn't asked if he was potentially interested in signing him or anything like that. He was just asked about AJ Styles, and he said this: "Oh, I'm a huge fan of AJ Styles. I think he's incredible. He's had great matches all over the world. We were just talking about Ring of Honor. He did some incredible things in Ring of Honor that are part of our tape library and also with our partners in New Japan Pro Wrestling. His match with Minoru Suzuki is one of my all-time favorites. He's never been in AEW before, but he's certainly been a lot of with a lot of the promotions that we work with." The way he said that, the way he said he's never been with AEW before, and there was a slight pause when he said it. Don't give me hope, Tony. Don't give me hope. I'm getting hopeful. I have also noticed that TNA are reportedly doing some events in Atlanta over the next in a couple of months as well. I have a feeling AJ Styles might do TNA in March and April, and then from May onwards, so from Double or Nothing until the end of the year, I think he might go out in AEW, and that way it makes everyone happy. He wrestles everywhere, and I would love that. But Clark, would you love that? Because I know you've been vocal about wanting to see him in AEW.
I called it first. Let's be very clear.
You did. You did.
Aware,
I called you out for it.
The most important thing about this is he's absolutely going to Jacksonville. Did you hear the tone of Tony Khan's voice? Dude, he was like, "I know something you don't know." That might as well be what he said. "I know something you don't know." Whether he goes to TNA or not, I said see you in September. Could be earlier, could be later, probably September. Atlanta, Georgia, that'd be a heck of a place to bring the Phenomenal One out in front of an AEW crowd, and they'll go ballistic. But I'll tell you what, the guy that put the gloves back on isn't done. You don't do that unintentionally.
Exactly. But I do want to ask you one thing, Clark, right? Because I've had quite a few people ask me about this now. Why do you keep mentioning September? Like, what's the relevance?
There's a song by The Happenings called "See You in September." And
what's that got to do with it?
And then All Out, which is my favorite of the events.
Right, so
that they run my birthday weekend.
Why would he miss the stadium event?
Because it's the birthday gift to me. I don't care about your European show. All Out is the one that I always went to, Chicago, all of that. And I'm an All Out guy, not an All In guy. If that's not the real answer, Ben. I'm totally joking. Honestly, the See You in September, I reasonably didn't want to project when his contract ended because I'm not totally aware of when it did. So I was like, by September, he's got to be available. So I just picked my birthday month. That's the real answer.
It's reportedly now.
It's the real answer.
It's either now or he signed a new deal we don't know about.
No.
In which case, it won't be September either.
September would be the best.
Regardless, it's either he's
what if I get
free
that
or he's not
aspect
going to be
right?
free.
That would be even funnier if he just shows up at All Out. Also, that's the debut shows. Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole.
You're right.
They do a good job with that. CM Punk. Yep.
Yeah.
I would love that. Probably not going to happen, but at the same time,
hope not. I want to see him in Wembley.
The first time I sang the song, it was mostly just so that I was clean on when the contract ends. I was like, I have
karaoke
time.
with Clark.
I have. Well, also, I bought myself some months in case his contract was through like July. That's what I figured. I was like, if his contract runs through July, I got to buy myself some extra months here.
Great song. Shout outs to you, Clark, says Fernando. And he says also props to you on the. He's not right yet, in fairness, but he's going to be right. I am now with Clark on it. And I apologized to him the other day. I said AJ Styles isn't a liar. It's just I didn't think that they were going to completely screw him the way they did, and I think that's changed his perspective. But up next, guys, we need to talk about Jey Uso, right? Because Jey Uso, and I did a video on this earlier on this YouTube channel, went on his Instagram stories over the past 3 days, and basically every day he's posted a cryptic thing like "give my family flowers," we deserve more praise, like the fans not respecting us and all this, respect us while we're still wrestling. And look, I made a video earlier And I want to make something crystal clear right now as well. I was not trying to say about Jey Uso that he's a Nepo baby or anything like that. I want to make it crystal clear that yes, his family helped him get a foot in the door. But what happened after that point was up to him. He put in the work. He put in the hours. He had the banger matches. He did everything to get to the level, and he deserves what he has gotten. He really, really does. I'm not a Jey Uso hater. I'm a Jey Uso fan. But at the same time, you cannot deny that his family have been given so many flowers in wrestling. You cannot deny that his family has helped him and has helped his family in professional wrestling, right? That is a fact that is undeniable. And for him to sit there when he's had so many more opportunities than 99% of the roster, he's been world champion, he won it at WrestleMania, multiple-time tag team champion, he's main evented WrestleMania 39 as well. For him to moan about not getting respect off fans when it was fans who created the Yeet movement, it is crazy to me. And my point is this. In this business, titles don't mean anything. They don't. What it means is you are one of the top guys. They trust you. And if you're a top guy, you are meant to be a locker room leader. And if you're making cryptic messages like this, the lower down people on the card, the LA Knights of this world, will be looking at it like, what on earth? I dream of getting the opportunities this guy gets, and he gets them, and he's still complaining about fans when fans give him all this love. It's downright disrespectful, and it's not being a locker room leader. It is not. And why it upset me so much is I do believe Jey Uso could be a top guy. This is not behavior of a top guy. It truly isn't. Now, I will say one last thing, and that one last thing is if this is a gimmick, if this is a work, it is absolutely genius. It is absolutely brilliant. I just don't know if that's the case. And you, I know you are not a fan of Jey Uso. You've been vocal about him. I want to get your perspective on this entire situation.
So I wanted to do something special for this segment, so excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and do this. This man who is only in his position because Jimmy got hurt. I listened to your video, Ben, and I feel like we shared a brain on this one. If it wasn't for Jimmy getting hurt, there would be no main event Jey Uso. If it wasn't for Jimmy getting hurt, we wouldn't have been able to build any sympathy for Jey Uso by Roman Reigns locking Jimmy up and Jey having to get the sympathy of the crowd for him to give up to be the right-hand man. And if it wasn't for Jimmy Uso, they wouldn't be the best tag team ever. If it wasn't for Jimmy Uso, they wouldn't have the best promos that they did. The Uso Penitentiary promos are some of the best promos they do. When they do the promos now, Jimmy does most of the talking. Jey's promos are, 4 letters, 1 word. Like, come on, man. Anybody could do that. But I will not downplay the impact that Jey Uso has had on the kids and the impact that Jey Uso has had on the industry as a whole, right? Jey comes out and arenas all around the world lose it. Like, they are extremely hype. Like, he can take an arena from a 3 to a 35 just from his music hitting. And the lights go out, and everybody's moving their hands up and down, some people with rhythm, some people without rhythm, but it doesn't matter. Everybody's having fun. He's dapping up Michael Cole. He's dapping up whatever announcers are up there. He's standing on top of the announce table. He's yeeting with the fans. He's getting in the ring. He's breathing heavy, but he's enjoying it. He's climbing up on the ropes. He's yeeting there. Other than that, be happy with what you got. There are thousands of wrestlers who wish that they have been able to be in the position that you're in, right? Now, if you're following in your dad's footsteps and you're just looking to be relevant, if you feel like, your star power is dropping and you need to be in the eye, so you're just saying silly things, then that's cool. I get it. But you got to deal with the backlash from it, Jey, whether it be good or bad. Now, if this is a work and you're just, if you're about to turn heel and this is a work for you to turn heel, kudos to them. I'm still not gonna like you. You still can't dive over the top rope without your feet hitting or your belly hitting. It is what it is. But Jey Uso, whatever you're doing, don't lose yourself. Right?
Yeah.
Remember
Absolutely.
who got you to where you're supposed to be. And that's Naomi. That's Roman Reigns.
Oh my.
Right? It's the New Day. If it wasn't for the New Day, you'd still be doing dark matches.
Well, okay, all right now, all right.
Naomi is married to
I
Jimmy.
agree.
Once again, Jimmy's the only reason Jey Uso is where he's at.
Oh man. Okay.
I mean,
so
he was
I'm
the one who said yeet, wasn't he?
Jimmy was the one that said yeet.
I gotta say really quickly, this is so very obviously to me a heel turn, and here's one thing
I don't
that
think
I
it
want to
is,
lob in here.
Clark.
No,
I really
'cause
don't
listen,
think
listen
it
up
is.
really quick.
He's
Hear me
doing
out.
what his dad does.
Let me say what I thought, which is number one here, and it's really important. They gave him the nickname Main Event Jey Uso, right? And
Yeah.
he won the Royal Rumble, which is the main event of the Royal Rumble. It was really
Yeah.
cool. He main evented one WrestleMania that you were in attendance for
Yeah, great.
as a heel alongside his brother.
Yeah.
He won the world title at WrestleMania on not a main event match after winning the Royal Rumble against Gunther, the guy that's been retiring everybody. Jay and Jimmy are one of the best heel tag teams of all time. The online criticism's there. Yeet can always come back. Run it back can always come back. He's seen the writing on the wall, and the second that they're both walking down the ramp with the music playing and he says, cut the music. It's the most devastating thing it's the most easy heel turn ever. He has to say
If
one
they
thing.
do it,
He has to
I'm delighted.
cut the music, no more run it back, and then mock it during the match. Run it back, but they're not going to play it. Mock it. Make
If
fun
that's
of
the
it.
case, I think it's genius.
And it's
I'll
genius.
eat all my words. But my point is, I don't think it is. If they turn heel, like Mary's saying on the Alpha Academy, brilliant. It's exceptional character work. But at the end of the day, this is an insult to the locker room. It is an insult to the fans who have supported him. And if he's turning heel, that makes sense. If he isn't turning heel, then he's lost. He's lost a lot of people.
I think
he's
they're in this mode where they're really trying to work us on everything, and
I
that's
hope
why
so.
I think. I mean, you look at like all the podcast quotes you got between Punk and Roman to set that up. I think this was very similar to that with Jay. We're going to see a lot more of this, and I think we need more of this. Provide confusion.
I
We
do.
should not be able to
Yeah.
tell you exactly what's going to happen, and I like to be right, but like we should not be able to tell you exactly what's going to happen.
Jey
I
Uso
like
is
to be
the
wrong
only
as well.
Royal
Same.
Jey Uso is the only Royal Rumble winner that I can think of not to main event night 2 of WrestleMania.
No, there's been a lot.
No, there's been a couple actually. Weirdly, they've messed that up. Well, remember, like a couple of them won and like somehow blew their opportunity before even Mania. I think that happened like twice.
You know, quite a few in recent years haven't main evented. I mean, on the women's side, almost all haven't. But even on the men's side, Shinsuke Nakamura a few years ago. There was another one in the last few years as well. Shoot, I'm trying to think of it. It'll come back to me. But we got Mary saying WWE has been trying to shock us for years. That is true. And Aunt you was spitting facts. He absolutely was. But up next, guys, we need to talk about a Mount Rushmore of AJ Styles dream matches. Now, as usual, when we do Mount Rushmores, I'll explain the rules quickly, right? These dream matches have to be still technically possible. So the likes of Shawn Michaels or people who have retired don't count. It has to be people who, if he came out of retirement again, he could face, right? Whether that's in WWE or outside WWE, right? It is up to our panelists today to decide. But without further ado, guys, this is a I'll do that again. This is a Mount Rushmore of AJ Styles dream matches which have never happened. I'll kick us off with Hangman Adam Page. These two together in AEW could have an incredible storyline, which I would absolutely love. The stories they could tell, but also their in-ring styles, I think would mesh really well, Clark. What's yours?
I absolutely love that, but my first pick is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Because for one reason, he works so well from this scenario, and AJ is the perfect foe because Max can do that thing where he doesn't respect the legend, and it forces as a fan for you to respect the legend more because he's so disrespectful. I think the brilliance of those two building a feud is enormous.
That is a brilliant one. But Ant, who is your first?
I love this. Now, mine are going to be a little bit more out of the box thinking. I went a lot younger. I thought of guys that would compliment AJ because they remind me of AJ. So my first pick is going to be Speedball Mike Bailey.
Ooh.
Great shout. That is incredible. Honestly, I mean, those styles would mesh so well. But yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to look at his age. I do think MJF is younger than him, but it would be an absolutely incredible match. That is
Ben
for
goes
sure.
with his. I'm okay, Ben. Like you don't have to. Lord. Okay, now back to me. Okay, so we're gonna go with another person who is fairly new to the scene, but not new to the scene. We're gonna go with Elio LaFleur.
Ooh.
Fantastic shout. I absolutely love that. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. There are so many. Like, that is one which we probably won't get, even if he comes out of retirement. We just won't. And that sucks, because that would have been absolutely unbelievable. But Clark, it is back to you now. What is your next dream match?
I'm going with an absolute gem here. Give me Konosuke Takeshita. And I don't even need to explain why. I don't even need to explain why.
That would be filthy. That would be unbelievable.
Right? Come on. Who
Might be
doesn't want that one?
illegal how good that match would be. Honestly, that would be fantastic. I mean, it's almost, this segment I thought was me a nice celebration or whatever of AJ Styles, bit of positivity. And now you guys have made me sad already, and we're not even halfway through because I realized we're not even going to get most of these.
We'll get that one.
Let's hope so. For sure. Up next, I am going to take somebody who we faced in a tag match, but never in singles action. I'm taking Leon Slater. This man was inspired by AJ Styles. He reminds me in many ways of a young AJ Styles, and I really hope there's some chance we somehow get to see this match before AJ Styles properly retires, if he hasn't already. But up next, I'm going to go to AEW, and I'm going to pick Bandito. These two, again, their styles would mesh incredibly well, I think. And I think they could have a match of the year contender. I mean, even some of the reversals you could do, I think would just work so well. I really hope there's some way, some chance that we could see that match. But Clark, back to you.
I'm sticking in AEW, and Ben, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm confident we're going to get this one. Swerve Strickland is my next pick.
Ooh.
I think Swerve AJ could be outstanding. And speaking of inspiration, he's mentioned that he's a fan of AJ in the past. I would love to see that match.
That would be absolutely brilliant. And it is crazy to me as well that match has never happened.
Never happened.
I'm going to be honest, Clark, he was next up on my list as well. So, but yeah, I mean, the fact that those two would mesh well as well, I think a feud between those two is what I want to see, though, too. Because Swerve's improved so much now promo-wise. I think that could be a fantastic storyline, which I'd love to see in AEW if it were to happen. But Ant, what have you got for your next two picks?
Yeah, Ben. So I got to take Leon Slater's tag team partner in that match, Mr. Javon Evans. I feel like that match would be insane. And then might as well finish it off with Davula Oba Femi.
That is an interesting pick there.
I didn't even think about that, but you know what? AJ has worked so well with that size of competitor so many times. It would have, especially prime AJ Styles, that would have been unreal. When
I made that pick, all I thought about was his match with Abyss. Yeah, I went back and I watched that match too. So, Ben, if you want to find a match to watch for your episodes,
get it
AJ Styles versus Abyss. Yeah,
but
beautiful.
Clark, who is your final pick?
For my final pick, and it's actually shocking because I actually think chemistry-wise, AJ could have arguably the best match with this guy because I just feel like the styles somehow would work. Pun intended. Darby Allin is my last pick.
Darby Allin.
AJ Styles, because AJ usually doesn't wrestle as the larger man, but between the catching styles clash and the power style that he can actually still wrestle at this age, Darby can add his flavor of that stuff and work opposite that in a way that's really technical, and I think the match will be outstanding.
Wow. Oh, wow, indeed. I mean, look, we've named some fantastic ones. There's going to be a few more honorable mentions I'll name before I name my final pick. I mean, Pete Dunne, his dream match with AJ Styles. We've never got it. Can't believe that. Gabe Kidd is another one. I think that would be a fantastic merge of styles. Yota Tsuji in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think that would be a lot of fun. And another big one, I almost went for him as my final pick, but I'm not going to. Jay White. Despite the similarities between the two, they've never actually faced each other, but there is one match which he's never had, which I think would be even better. And that, for my final pick, is Shingo Takagi. They've never faced off before, and that is a 5-star match if I've ever heard of one. It really, really is. I mean, the pumping bomb, like he said, goes for a phenomenal forearm. Pumping bomber. Oh, that would be absolutely filthy. Woo!
I like it. I really like it. It's a great pick.
Excited. But there we have it, guys.
It's a great Mount Rushmore.
It is. And there's no wrong answers with this one either, really. It's just banger, 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 banger. But that does, guys, bring us to the end of the show. Thank you to Clark. Thank you to you for joining me here today. We will be back the same time, same place tomorrow to talk AEW Dynamite. Careful you don't catch a cold because we're all going to be sickos. See you guys then. Peace.